Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey everyone, Duncan here with another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we chat with founders and leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And I'm excited to be here with Arnell. Arnell, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Duncan? And thanks everyone for tuning in to this latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Mark, CEO of the Helmsman Group. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Awesome. Thanks, Arnell. I'm so excited, everyone, to introduce our guest today, Mark Haas from Helmsman Group. And he has been a driving force not only behind the company, but among some of their large success stories. So prepare to be captivated. And as the CEO and the creative mind of the company, Mark's orchestrated incredible success stories, particularly in the snacks and beverage space, Arnell, which you know we love. And his visionary leadership has taken ideas into global acclaim, awards, patents, and so he's just got an amazing touch. We're so happy to have you on the show. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Duncan. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start this out, Mark. Let's tell us a little bit. How did you get started with all of this?
Oh boy, that was a long time ago. I started in the food industry almost 30 years ago now, and over the course of time, I was drawn into consumer packaged goods. My first big opportunity in consumer CPG was with the Hain Celestial Group, general manager of several brands, and then had the opportunity to join Kashi in the early days, immediately after the Kellogg acquisition. Worked in the Kellogg organization for several years and wanted to go off onto my own. So I started my own contract manufacturing business. That was a lot. That was in the middle of the Great Recession. And then at that point, just given the fatigue that I was experiencing as a founder, building my own manufacturing business, I opened the agency to help other brands with all the trials and tribulations of building brands, building new products, go to market, et cetera. And so we've been assisting and facilitating brands since 2011.
I know you mentioned you help facilitate brands, help them, put together their strategy. What are some of the primary things that you help people with? What inspired you to establish the Helmsman Group, and what was the mission?
So the mission is, it started with supply chain and operations. It's this area that is often mysterious to founders. Founders usually start with product and brand. They have a clear vision on what they want to bring to market and how they want consumers to engage with the product. They don't necessarily know how to execute. And so we first started with developing new products, finding manufacturing solutions that could scale and generate profitability. We expanded our expertise, and now today, after nearly 13 years of doing this, I would position ourselves as product experts from all facets of product. And what we do is we examine first the product that the founders would bring to us and resonate the attributes of the brand through the product itself, so that the brand comes to life and is obvious to consumers, so that the consumer engagement is a rewarding experience for the brand and for consumers.
That's amazing. Innovation is clearly one of your hallmarks. And I know you were saying to us offline, you're working on a white paper on innovation, but what's the role that innovation plays? And can you share any of your secrets about the success stories?
Well, the white paper is focused on sort of current contemporary trends in large CPG organizations. In my opinion, there's two camps. I think we can all agree that Apple is a well-regarded, innovative company. And if you look at their P&L, they invest about 4.7% of their gross revenues into innovation. In juxtaposition, you can look at some CPG brands in particular, and to me, it's no question why the lackluster products that they bring to market or lack of products that they bring to market isn't really a question when they spend less than 1% of gross sales in innovation. Innovation means lots of different things to different people. To us, it is really about either pioneering white space or creating new opportunities. Truly what I think innovation is meant to define. It has become, though, and there was an article I commented on recently where exchanging an ingredient for flaxseed in this example was considered to be innovative, as opposed to true innovation, which is delivering something new and something exciting and something tantalizing to consumers.
That's so interesting. I'm wondering, this is sort of a question that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Is Apple truly an innovative company, or do they take other people's good ideas that are poorly executed and actually execute them well?
Probably all the above. I'm not a student of Apple, but when you look at them in the limelight of where they are, and being the largest brand in the world, they definitely innovate. And innovation is not merely the pioneering of something new and novel; it's also the execution and the scaling and the bringing in the product to market. So you have to mainstream the item and generate profitability to truly be innovative. If you just design something amazing that nobody knows about, that's not really innovation.
That's interesting. Can you walk us through the typical journey of a client that joins the Helmsman Group? What does that look like from idea to market?
Yeah, we have clients that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's all you.
Oh, we have clients that come in for different purposes. Usually, I would say the typical client coming in has a pretty good idea of what they want to bring to market and the kinds of attributes, claims that they would, make a point of differentiation for their product. And initially, we go through this process. It's an ideation process where we first immerse ourselves and discover really what makes the brand, the leaders and founders tick, what they really want the brand to represent. And we go through a conceptualization exercise and the exercise can take a few days. We do comparisons to market analogs. What do they like about the potential competition? What do they not like about it? What claims do they want to make? And we synthesize all of this information into a wireframe or a construct of a new product. It's in that wireframe that we, again, one of the features that differentiate us at Helmsman Group is we really look at the business of CPG. And we focus on in the very early stages of unit economics. Can the product be made affordably, and can you take it to market, and will consumers pay for it? If the answer to any of those questions is probably not, or some degree of skepticism, we go back to the drawing board and work through areas of opportunity to help the founders really understand it's not a passion play. And well, as emotional as it may be, we're trying to help you build a business, and a single product by itself isn't a business. We need a platform to build a business. And from there, you can carry your messaging and have a conversation with consumers.
Got it. When you're working with founders, Mark, how often is ingredient sourcing and the whole concept of co-packing, new? I mean, maybe they know they have to do it, but how well do they know this space, and how much of a key to solving all of this is ingredient sourcing and co-packing?
Yeah, it's not unknown to the founders. I mean, they're aware that co-packers are out there and they want to work with them. They want to work with them as quickly as possible, and certainly ingredients are known to them as well. What is not known is the degree of expectation, the requirements, the rigor, the sophistication. We often have, founders come to us saying they've completed all of their ingredient sourcing, and, they'll share with us where they've purchased some ingredients on Amazon or grocery stores. And we say, well, it's not really ingredient sourcing. You have what we would call a prototype. You have an idea of what you want to make. You have a kitchen type recipe, and a recipe is not a formulation. A formulation is the organization of the industrial ingredients, which have all of the criteria, attributes, claims, certifications, regulatory review, food safety analysis, etc. It's not uncommon for a single ingredient to have over 90 pages of support documentation. That is ingredient sourcing. That's a key distinction that they don't really understand yet, what is required of them. The second part, the co-packing or contract manufacturing, they want to produce it as quickly as possible, and they wonder why people don't want to come to their aid and produce products. Contract manufacturers are businesses too, and they have certain criteria. They have minimums. They're dealing with whatever your formulation brings to them. It could be certifications like organic or kosher, and there could be prohibitions. They may not want to work with certain ingredients that might have allergens or have the potential for allergen cross-contamination. So there's a lot of rigor on behalf of the contract manufacturer to review the formulation to determine whether or not that is the right fit for their business. And then scale. Manufacturers have minimum order quantities. They're going to run their production lines for a minimum period of time, often a shift if they're relatively small or open or amenable to working with early stage manufacturers. But a shift isn't 8 hours of production or however they describe their shift. It's 4 or 5 hours of production because there's setup time, there's cleaning time, there's changeover of the packaging. And so it often is a big surprise on two fronts. One is the costs associated with a single shift of production yielding only 4 hours, 5 hours of productivity. And the second is, how come they can't produce 1,000 units or 2,000 units? That's all I need, when the minimum order quantity might be 25,000 units or 50,000 units or 100,000 units based on the size and breadth and just sophistication of the manufacturer's production lines. And so there's a lot of early stage learnings about, are you ready to scale? Do you have to self-produce? Do you have to find another route to market initially to generate your MVP, proof of concept, and generate a margin story, so that if you're looking for investors rather, there is a clear financial recipe for bringing the product to market that investors will get behind and see that there is a future potential for growth.
Got it.
Perfect, Ron. It was really interesting. You said a lot of things that reminded us of a former podcast invitee who was on the show, Giles Beloit. He has an instant kombucha brand and did food innovation with Cary Food Innovation Center. But talking about a lot of the things, the scaling and making product, great to scale for market. I did want to ask you, what were some of the most memorable success stories that you've had, collaborations where a client had remarkable success?
One of the more recent ones it's been a few years now, since just before COVID. Magic Spoon, they came to us early on after they debuted their product, and we helped them with redesigning some of the formulation, harmonizing the flavor system so that the flavors could really speak for themselves. The primary purpose of Magic Spoon was to offer consumers a low-carb, keto-friendly cereal product, ready-to-eat cereal product that had nostalgic flavors of childhood. And they came to us to help them formulate and recreate these flavors. I have a great deal of background in ready-to-eat cereals. I've done a lot of work at Kellogg's and Kashi, done some work with General Mills, among others. And so the pedigree that we have for working on ready-to-eat cereals is pretty robust. And we developed a number of flavor platforms for them. And if you look at their current market capitalization, I think it's a clear success. Last November, they closed their B round at $85 million. And I don't know what the total valuation is, but it was pretty substantial.
Super cool. What are you seeing, Mark, in terms of emerging food trends or beverage trends? Clearly mezcal is on the rise, and functional drinks and functional food is on the rise, and then you've got spicy flavors that are working their way. And what are your thoughts on some of the trends we can expect?
Yeah, there's an ongoing pursuit of ethnic flavors and formats. So a lot of discovery, a good platform for, seeing what's trending is Trader Joe's. They do a very good job of bringing new concepts and products to market. Their shoppers at Trader Joe's, they have, traveling vicariously through daily meals, as well as entertainers that want to bring something new, a spark. And then everyday value shoppers, whole family value shoppers that are looking for something beyond the typical, 3-course midweek meal. And so there's a lot of trend exploration that you can find at Trader Joe's as one clear example. What's coming a little bit further out, non-alcohol is making a huge debut. Botanicals, anything that has either the perception of functionality or just interesting benefits, are botanicals. One of the, I would say, clear winners that's been doing this for a long time is traditional medicinals. If you look at their business and their product and their quality in terms of how they commit to the claims and purity of their product they bring to market, they're very remarkable in that regard. Other trends, peppers. There's a lot of different peppers and spicy combinations that are showing up. People are looking for different deliveries of heat, accessible, I guess, ethnic cooking condiments, where you have a product that would act as a marinade and as a condiment and sort of an addressing to how you would prepare your meal, often in sort of the one pot category where you might use a protein and some sort of carbohydrate-based pastas, rice, something like that to deliver, again, another midweek meal. What else am I seeing out there? Keto is waning. I think we're seeing a lot of that right now, but the concept of keto, the reduced carbohydrates, I don't believe will. I think, lower carbs or reduced carbs is here to stay, especially with aging consumers, boomers, Gen X, and now millennials, of course. They want familiar and nostalgic flavors, but delivered to them in a more healthful format, and then healthful indulgence. So premium goods that deliver a power of impact or attributes or certifications, claims, but in portion controlled fashion, where you get the premium eating experience and the knowledge that it's a little bit better for you. So it's not a traditional chocolate chip cookie, as an example, but might be single origin, 70% cacao with organic, components and things of that nature.
Fascinating. Arnell, I know some of the things we've seen tie in very well with what Mark's saying. Certainly, Mark's seen, we've had 3 different founders in the zero alcohol or zero proof space. One of the interesting things, what they were saying to us, is that you're starting to see people that drink alcohol adopt non-alcoholic drinks as mixers.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because it's not at all what it's designed for. The other thing that's been interesting is also to see this sort of like either abandonment of sugar or the adoption of clean sugar, as opposed to unclear where the sweetness is coming from, kind of approach. So I don't know if you've seen any of that too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we've gotten pretty clever in our new product development. We're using blends of high intensity sweeteners in moderation to deliver the impact of sugar without the caloric load of sugar. And so by creating more novel blends of these high intensity sweeteners, we can use the ingredients in moderation so they self-limit or mask the off flavors that are undesirable. And we've been developing a number of products, including confections, that are pretty clean tasting. I mean, it probably is a little skeptical to people who haven't tried these kinds of products, because we all have the knowledge of the stevia licorice flavor, or the sort of what I would call the metallic flavor of monk fruit extracts and things of that nature. But when used in moderation, instead of the sole sweetener, in combination with other sweeteners, sometimes sugar alcohols, sometimes allulose, sometimes sugar itself, it can really deliver a powerfully reduced sugar experience without sacrificing taste.
What about, are you seeing any trends in regards to mushrooms? and people using that and beverages and food?
Yeah, I mean, adaptogens have been around for quite some time. Reishi in particular and lion's mane both. There is an interest in the functionality, and I'm going to put adaptogens and mushrooms in the botanical camp. What consumers are looking for are natural solutions that deliver some kind of efficacy. The challenge is extracting enough of those efficacious compounds that deliver the desired effect in consumption. And so there may be some augmentation with supplementation or higher concentrates of extracts. The challenge with botanicals is to really draw out those efficacious compounds, whether that's in production or whether that's a purchased ingredient. Often bring a lot of alkaloids, bitter flavor, flavonoids that are just highly undesirable to be able to achieve any sort of measurable threshold of efficaciousness. And so that's the challenge for development. That's why you would come to an organization like us, is to work through some of these challenges and offer enhanced solutions. But absolutely, adaptogens, any functional beverage, whether that's cognition or something, it doesn't have to be a beverage, but functional products, immunity, vitamin D in particular. We're all generally, as a global population, we insufficiently consume vitamin D, and so vitamin D augmentation, I think, is really important. Cognition, energy that is not necessarily caffeine oriented or sugar oriented. So how do we generate energy to sustain us throughout the day? These are all powerful products. And then building on something Duncan said a minute ago about NA or zero proof products being used as mixers for alcoholic products. I think that dovetails into this better for you concept, this premium indulgence. And so rather than have, however many drinks a consumer might want to have, a cosmopolitan or a gin and tonic, I might go for a premium mixer that has some functionality to it, or some sophisticated flavor profiles, add a splash of vodka or gin, whatever seems to be appropriate, and enjoy that drink in moderation.
That's fascinating. Super fascinating. Mark, what do you say to founder coming in about, do you even ever cross over into health type things, where you're working with the founder and you're like, hey, listen, you need to take better care of yourself if you want to do this journey?
Well, I don't get too personal with our clientele. If they were to ask me questions, if they were to ask me as sort of a life coach, one of the things that we offer all of our clients is consulting of CPG business. And part of that is, as a founder, you're on an island. And I would say the majority of the therapy that I do provide to founders isn't necessarily physical health, like, go work out, go exercise, go do those kinds of things. It may come up in conversations from time to time, but, that's not typical. What is more typical, though, is how to deal with business management, employees, your leadership team, investors, challenges with distributors or retailers. And so I would say the majority of the help or assistance I provide in a health arena is mental health, therapy, in terms of being a sounding board, having been in their shoes and being able to give them, whatever pearls of wisdom I can that might help them in their journey.
That's fantastic. Well, we really appreciate you and what you're doing in the world, making the world a better place. Thank you for helping all these founders and leaders, and thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to hear a little bit about a different aspect of the industry.
How can people? I know Arnell is about to ask this question. How can our listeners find you?
We have a website, helmsmangroup.com. It's pretty easy to find us. You can also find, all kinds of content about me on LinkedIn. I would say those are the two best channels to locate us, is just directly on our Helmsman Group website. And then finding me, Mark Haas, Haas, at linkedin.com.
Awesome. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We've been talking to Mark Haas, who's the CEO of the Helmsman Group or Helmsman Group. And certainly, Mark, you're running a wonderful organization that helps founders get kind of science and scaling capabilities in a very accessible way. So thank you for what you're doing. He's a great guy. Check him out, helmsmangroup.com. And you've been listening to another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we focus on CEOs and leaders and founders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.